Hello, my name is Claire, and I'm one of the counselors with SFA Counseling Services. My pronouns are she, her. I work with those students experiencing issues related to their mental health and students who are struggling with addiction. I recognize that counseling can be a bit awkward at times, and so I work to create an environment where you can feel safe to share. I am LGBTQ+ affirming and strive to nurture and support all students' authenticity and self-expression. I specialize in providing group therapy. I believe that it is through the group experience that students gain a greater sense of self-acceptance, community, and belonging. In the fall and spring semesters, I lead a support group for those students who identify as transgender and a women's group, where each week women from diverse, intersecting identities come together to share and offer one another support. All of our services are free and confidential, so give us a call or stop by our office to schedule an appointment, and let's talk.
Hello, my name is Ron Smith, and I am one of the mental health counselors here with SFA Counseling Services. I use the pronouns he, him, and his. I have a master's degree in community counseling that I received here at SFA in 2005. I enjoy meeting with and supporting students as they work to address a wide range of personal and mental health issues. In counseling, I view us as a team working together. You are in charge as we work together to use our unique expertise and perspectives to support you as you make changes and overcome obstacles. I specialize in working with students in areas like trauma, grief, and anger resolution, and I enjoy working with students who've been diagnosed on the autism spectrum. Like the other counselors here, I most frequently meet with students experiencing depression, anxiety, academic difficulties, relationship or family difficulties, or struggling with their sense of identity. I enjoy facilitating counseling groups for students and seeing how they can work together to support and validate each other and develop new skills and insights for meeting life's challenges. If you'd like to learn more, give us a call. Let's talk.
Hi, my name is Prisi Seha, and I'm a counselor here with Counseling Services. I enjoy working with students here on campus. I approach counseling through the lens that you, the student, is the expert in your life, and you have unique strengths and abilities to approach a variety of challenges or adjustments that you might be going through. I work alongside you to help identify additional techniques and skills that you can then apply towards your goals. I also approach counseling through the lens of trauma-informed care, meaning that I have an understanding that trauma can impact how we see the world as well as how we interact with the world. Therefore, it can impact how we cope with different challenges. I enjoy actively working towards becoming a more inclusive counselor through trainings and continuing education. Currently, I provide both individual as well as group counseling, and I facilitate a Latinx support group. If you'd like to learn more, give us a call. Let's talk. Hi, my name is Prisi Seha, and I'm with Counseling Services. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit more about the services that we offer and how you can get in touch with us. So we're located on the 3rd floor of the Rest Building, and you can call us at 936-468-2401. All our services are free and confidential. We offer individual counseling, group, couples or relationship counseling. We're also available for crisis situations, and often we provide trainings to classrooms or organizations across campus. You can follow us on Instagram at SFA Counseling Services, or look us up online on our webpage, sfasu.edu/counseling services. There, you can find a listing to our local mental health providers, as well as online resources, and a list of common questions and answers. So if what you're looking for is not listed there, you could always give us a call, and that way we can talk to you a little bit more about what questions you might have. We know that we're coming up to a big transition here as we transition back to in-person services and things are reopening, and that there might be a variety of thoughts and feelings. And so if you're needing to talk to someone about what that might look like or feel like for you, we're here. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Again, we're on the 3rd floor of the Russ Building, and you can reach us at 936-468-2401. Take care.
Some of you might be familiar with the signs and symptoms of the more common mental health disorders that people struggle with. For many, though, it can be difficult to identify and understand how and why we feel the way we do. Most people do know someone who struggles with mental illness, and they want to help, but they just aren't sure how. I'm going to share with you some signs, symptoms, and behaviors that might indicate you or someone you know is struggling or even feeling suicidal. I am also going to give you some tips on how to stay safe or how to help a loved one stay safe when there are concerns of suicide. The following are symptoms of depression: feeling sad, irritable, or numb, feeling hopeless or worthless, changes in sleeping patterns, changes in eating patterns, difficulty concentrating or making decisions, feeling tired all the time, lack of interest in things that you typically enjoy, and finally, thoughts of suicide. Anxiousness presents itself as excessive worrying and sometimes severe and intrusive thoughts, making it hard to complete the tasks of the day. Some might avoid social situations, and it is common to feel agitated and restless. Anxiety can also lead to having tense muscles, intestinal issues, and unexplained body aches. For those who experience more severe anxiety, they might have panic attacks, where they find it is hard to breathe and they feel dizzy. For those who have experienced a traumatic event or have been victims of a complex trauma, such as ongoing abuse, food insecurity, family violence, discrimination, or oppression, symptoms may include feelings of shame or guilt, difficulty controlling one's emotions, difficulty in their relationships, physical symptoms like headaches, chest pain, and stomach aches. Many mental health issues, especially if experienced over a long period of time, can lead to destructive and risky behaviors, self-harm, and substance abuse. Everyone goes through tough times, and it is normal and actually even healthy to experience a wide range of emotions. Sometimes these emotions might feel uncomfortable, but they are important to pay attention to because they are telling us something. And experiencing that wide range of emotions makes us the unique humans that we are. It may be time to seek out professional help, though, when we find that we are experiencing these symptoms consistently, most of the day, most days of the week, for more than 2 weeks. It can be difficult to seek out help for ourselves when we are having thoughts of suicide. While having thoughts of suicide is actually more common than you think, it isn't really something that we talk about. The truth is, though, that if someone who is experiencing thoughts of suicide does get the appropriate treatment, it is effective between 60 and 80% of the time, and it is unlikely that they will experience those thoughts ever again. We understand that it can be difficult to ask someone if they are having thoughts of suicide. We recommend that if you are concerned about someone's safety, that you ask them directly. You give yourself plenty of time, listen, help them to feel safe and never judged, and finally encourage them to seek out professional care. Maybe even go with them that first time. If you don't feel like you can ask them directly if they're having thoughts of suicide, we recommend you find someone who can. If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, go to your nearest emergency room, call UPD, or text hello to 741-741. You can also walk up to our office between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. and visit our website for more information on resources in the Nacogdoches area. And remember, all of our services are free and confidential, so we encourage you to schedule an appointment. We are here to listen, and we are here to help.
Hi, let's take a moment to talk about stress management and self-care. Stress is something we all experience. We typically experience stress when we're unsure about how to approach a situation or how successful we might be with a task. Some helpful things to keep in mind when experiencing stress include taking a look at your routine and schedule. Think about what are some of the things that you might need to prioritize or divide up into smaller tasks. Some tools to help with this might include using a planner, calendar, list, Post-its, or a dry erase board. Writing things down or having visual reminders can be very helpful. Looking at how you're scheduling your day can help you make sure that you're setting aside time, not just for classes and schoolwork, but also for other things. You want to make sure that you're allowing time for your needs as well, such as time for sleep, rest, or food. It's easy to get caught up with keeping up with classes, work, or other commitments. Set up a routine and use time management tools to help you develop a routine that works for you. Now let's talk about sleep hygiene and routine. Some helpful tips include keep your routine consistent. Following the same steps each night, including things like putting on your pajamas and brushing your teeth, can help reinforce in your mind that it's time for bed. You want to budget at least 30 minutes for winding down at the end of your day and do things that can help put you in a calm state of mind, such as listening to soft music, doing some light stretching, reading, or other relaxation exercises. Dim your lights and try to keep away from bright lights because they can hinder the production of melatonin, which is a hormone that our body creates to help with sleep. You want to unplug from electronics and give yourself at least 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime that is device-free. Devices cause mental stimulation that it's hard to shut off, and they also generate blue light that might decrease the melatonin production. You want to focus on making relaxation your goal rather than falling asleep. Relaxation techniques can put you in the right state of mind for bed. If you find yourself tossing and turning, get up, stretch, read, or do something else in low light before trying to fall asleep again. You want to try to not eat right before bed, and if possible, avoid doing all-nighters. Although it is common for students to do all-nighters, the lack of sleep can affect your mood, your energy, your ability to focus, and your ability to think clearly. You want to try to stay active during the day so when it's time to go to bed, you're ready to wind down and go to sleep. Some other things to keep in mind to help manage stress include giving yourself time during the day to check in on yourself. It's important to not overbook yourself. You want to make sure that you allow time for breaks in between classes or other responsibilities. And these breaks can be helpful even if they're only for 5 to 10 minutes. Some examples of helpful small breaks include getting up and stretching, moving around, changing your scenery, stepping outside for a moment, grabbing some water, or using the restroom. When managing stress, remember to reach out to your supports. And these can be friends and family back home, or peers, staff, or faculty on campus. Here at Counseling Services, we can assist you with getting connected to other resources as needed, whether they be on campus or off campus. Another tip includes being aware of the time spent on social media or watching the news. Be mindful of what you're taking in and how much. We're constantly taking in information, and depending on what we're taking in, it can impact how we feel. Give yourself permission to take breaks and to check in on yourself and see how you're feeling. Along with setting limits to your social media, think about the boundaries that you have with your time, your space, your money, or your body. Many times we can find ourselves wanting to say yes to everything, whether due to fear of missing out, trying to keep up with things, or being concerned what others will think if we say no. It is okay to say no. It is okay to not commit to every outing or activity you're invited to. Think about what feels safe or comfortable to you. Keep in mind that we all have different comfort zones as well as our own needs. Give yourself permission to listen to yourself and consider making changes if something does not feel right to you. Now let's talk about the importance of giving yourself credit for the work and effort that you're doing. Often we feel like we're not doing enough and we feel like we have to prove ourselves. We tend to minimize or dismiss our accomplishments. Remind yourself of the time and effort that you are putting in, and remember that things are a work in progress. Keep these various strategies and tips in mind when managing stress. They can not only help with managing stress, but may also help prevent from feeling overwhelmed. By taking the steps to help yourself manage stress now, you can take care of your mental health. If you'd like to learn more about this topic or other topics, give us a call.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the effects of using drugs and alcohol and the importance of making good decisions when it comes to taking care of your body and your mind. There are a variety of reasons why college students report using drugs and alcohol, and there is no denying that it is common on college campuses. But now is as good of time as any to have an honest conversation with yourself about what your priorities are, because the effects of substance use can be lifelong. Many people believe that smoking cannabis will help to reduce anxiety and lead to feelings of relaxation. While it is true that the immediate effects may leave you feeling more relaxed, prolonged use leads to increased symptoms of anxiousness, especially for those who may already be struggling with anxiety or who are prone to experiencing issues around mental illness. Cannabis use can also lead to issues with concentration and motivation, even when you're not high. So as your use goes up, your grades will go down. Some people may say that drinking alcohol helps them to unwind or even feel more comfortable in social situations. But the truth is that alcohol is a very powerful substance with devastating and even life-threatening effects on the body. And because of how widely socially acceptable alcohol is, addiction is a major risk with this substance. Alcohol is involved in more than half of campus sexual assaults, and it does put you at higher risk for suicide. Using drugs and drinking alcohol also impacts the way that we think and behave. It can even change the way that we process information. Drug withdrawal can lead to feelings of depression and desperation, as well as make it harder to stop. Choosing to drink and do drugs can lead to a range of academic, social, and emotional problems. The choice to use has the potential to affect your relationships. You could find yourself in legal trouble or even be expelled from school. We understand that you are under a lot of pressure, and we know how hard it is to manage stress. We also recognize that some of you may already be experiencing issues around addiction, or you may be coping with the fact that a family member struggles with addiction. We are here to listen and never to judge. We can help you to gain skills to manage or even avoid use. we recommend always making the choice to abstain from use. But if you do choose to use drugs or alcohol, never do so and drive. Avoid mixing substances. And always let someone you trust know where you are going and who you are going to be with.
Hi, let's go ahead and take a moment to talk about healthy and unhealthy relationships. What we'll do is we'll start with reviewing a list of healthy green flags as well as some unhealthy red flags. Then we'll talk a little bit more about what might be some examples of these things as they pertain to a relationship based out of power and control versus one based out of equality. So let's get started. Okay. So some signs of a healthy relationship include that it moves at a comfortable pace. So it's something that you and your partner can both decide in terms of what's a comfortable pace. There's a sense of trust where you are able to believe that your partner won't do anything to hurt you or ruin the relationship. There's a sense of honesty, being truthful and open with your partner. It's important to be able to talk together about what you both want. There's a sense of independence where you have the space and freedom in your relationship to be yourself. There's a sense of respect. If respect is present in your relationship, your partner will value your beliefs, opinions, as well as who you are as a person. And there might be a sense of equality, where you and your partner have the same say and put equal effort into the relationship, instead of feeling like one person has more say than the other. There's a sense of compassion, which is a feeling of a sense of care and concern from your partner and knowing that they will be there to support you too. Taking responsibility, which involves you and your partner are both responsible for your own actions and words. And loyalty, when your partner is reliable and you feel confident that they have your back. When your partner is respectful and faithful and keeps your secrets safe. And a sense of communication. If you can talk to your partner about anything, the good and bad, this is a sign of a healthy relationship. Okay, so let's go ahead and review some signs of an unhealthy relationship or some red flags. And these include a sense of intensity, such as over-the-top behavior that feels like too much too soon, such as lying to cover up insecurity or obsessive behavior. A sense of jealousy, which tends to be irrational, angry behavior when you speak with someone they perceive as a threat, persistently accusing you of flirtatious or inappropriate behavior. A sense of control, telling you what to wear, who to hang out with, what to speak, or what to think. A sense of isolation, insisting you only spend time with them, making you dependent on them for money, love, or acceptance. Sabotage, making you miss school, work, or something important to you by starting a fight or pretending to be sick, breaking up with you, or hiding your phone or keys. This can also be seen as manipulation. Criticism, using name calling, brainwashing, or gaslighting to leave you feeling worthless. Blame, making you feel guilty, making you feel like everything is your fault. Anger, such as overreacting to small issues, losing control, violent outbursts, and making you feel afraid. Often this can involve intimidation, threats, the use of alcohol, so becoming overly emotional after drinking, sobbing, threatening to harm themselves, or become violent or angry. Not remembering what happened while drunk, and using "I was drunk" as an excuse for poor behavior. And group conquest, so acting differently when in a group than when alone. Treating partners as conquests. Sexual one-upmanship. So these are some of the unhealthy red flags. Now let's look a little bit deeper. So the National Center on Domestic Violence and Sexual Violence has these wheels that we're going to be looking at next. And so the first wheel is the wheel of equality. So these are some additional things to look out for that can help you determine the healthy aspects of a relationship. Some of these we mentioned already. So for example, the relationship is based on nonviolence. When deciding things, there is negotiation and fairness. You're both looking for mutually satisfying resolutions to the conflict, and you're willing to compromise with each other. There's non-threatening behavior. You are talking and acting in a way that feels safe and comfortable for both of you. As mentioned earlier, there's a sense of respect, so being heard and listened to in a non-judgmental way, being emotionally affirming and understanding and valuing each other's opinions. There's a sense of trust and support, supporting goals, respecting their right to have their own feelings, friends, activities, and opinions. Sense of honesty and accountability, accepting responsibility for self, acknowledging past use of violence if there's been, and admitting being wrong, communicating openly and truthfully. Some of these others are a little bit more specific if it's a long-term relationship or a marriage. So responsible parenting, sharing those responsibilities as a parent, share responsibility in terms of the housework or the family, as well as financially. And so you are making decisions together with the money coming in, money coming out of the relationship or family. Okay. So the National Center on Domestic and Sexual Violence also has this wheel based on power and control in terms of what an unhealthy relationship looks like. Of course, most of us think of physical and sexual assaults and threats as the most common forms of unhealthy relationship. Here we see some additional things to keep in mind. So for example, the use of coercion and threats, making or carrying out threats to do something to hurt them, threatening to leave them, commit suicide, or report them to welfare. Threatening them to drop charges or making them do things that are against the law. The use of intimidation, so making them afraid either through looks, actions, or gestures, smashing things, destroying their property, abusing pets, or displaying weapons. Emotional abuse, so putting the other person down, making them feel bad about themselves by calling them names, attempting to make them think that it's their fault or that they're quote crazy, playing mind games such as gaslighting, humiliating them, or making them feel guilty. Isolation, so we talked about this one earlier. So limiting who they get involved with outside of the relationship and using jealousy to justify them. There's often a sense of minimizing and denying and blaming, making light of the abuse and not taking their concerns about it seriously, denying that the abuse happened, or shifting responsibility and blaming the other person. When there's children involved, maybe using the children to make the other person feel guilty, to relay messages, to as a threat, if they don't do what you want them to do, using them as a threat. That's something that comes up often in families where children are involved. Economic abuse, preventing them from having a job or making their own money, or limiting their access to the family income, not letting them know about how much there is or even have access to using it. And something else that's listed here is male privilege, so treating them like a servant, making all the big decisions, acting like the quote master of the castle, being the one that's defining the roles and responsibility in the household. And some of these things that we reviewed can be seen, as mentioned, both in long-term relationships, recent relationships, relationships with or without children, but some of these things can also be involved in friendships. And so these signs and symptoms are not limited to just romantic relationships or sexual relationships, but they can also be seen in friendships. And so that's something to keep in mind. If you have any concerns about anything that you've heard today, or you'd like to talk to someone about maybe some experiences that you've had, then feel free to give us a call at Counseling Services, and we would be glad to meet with you. Take care.